to. Oh, thank you. Do we have anybody online?
No.
First order of business is the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to read through them? Anybody have any changes, edits? Okay, can I get a motion to accept the minute? Oh,
There was one formatting thing. There was a line like in the middle. And then also the two applications that appear under new business.
okay, thank you, Jay. Okay, can I get a motion to accept the minutes with those two edits?
I'll make a motion.
Second. I take it, no one objects. Next order of business correspondence. Did everybody have a chance to see the letter from Malcolm Kirk? Have any thoughts or comments on it?
Yeah, the public meeting is closed. So we can't open it anymore in case they have to go further.
That is true, but it's certainly up to the board if someone else wanted to had raised their hand. That's typically the way that Art runs the town board meetings, that even once the public portion is closed, that he will occasionally allow people to and my perspective on that is if people are here and they want to offer their opinion, and even if we close the public meeting, if someone had said, hey, excuse me, but I wish I'd said this, I see no reason why we wouldn't allow them. What do you think?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Actually, this is their public meeting thing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you wrote it because I think it points out something that we need to be cognizant of.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking that I would write them back after we discuss this tonight and just let them know that, first of all, thanking them for the letter. And then saying, acknowledging that we got it, we had a discussion about it. Here's our perspective once the public meeting is closed. I didn't know what to say about him getting or any member of the public getting a copy of Nan's letter prior to the meeting. I don't know how we would do that if someone specifically wanted it, but I don't know, Jay, does the planning board deal with this at all? Where
So what I would say is it is my understanding that they may know it come to my office or contact me prior
right?
to the ZBA meeting. Had they done that, they would have had an opportunity to documents and also to potentially flag. The consultant memos are not privileged with attorney-client privilege, but they may not be subject to FOIA. Because they could be seen as an interagency.
Gotcha.
So then I would, say, hey, they want to see this, and then ask if it were okay with you, and you should.
So you're saying that they're not subject to FOIL, so that they wouldn't automatically get it, but that you would pass and it would be up to the chairman.
Well, flip records and subjects do different things. So like there would be a record that would be reviewable prior to this. Those when I send out a mail message to public notice for hearings that basically come to my office or contact me.
So the only way, though, that I can think of to increase public access to documents prior to the meeting is actually to put in the announcement that goes out, an anchor mail. Documents available in clerk's office, blah, 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 should you wish.
Which should be in the public.
Oh, is it all right? That specific line is, oh, okay.
That's good, but as they have said, they didn't come in, they didn't contact you prior, is that true?
Yeah, I'll go back and I missed that. I don't remember seeing that in the announcement, but. Okay. So that's it for the correspondence. Next, we'll have a conversation about the Downing Farm old business, but before I do that, are there any conflicts that have changed for anyone that would preclude you from participating? Nope, nope. Okay, good. All right. The purpose of tonight's meeting is for us to come to a decision about the application. My suggestion around the way that we do that is that we go through the short environmental assessment form, the impact part 2, which is the impact assessment, and use that as a guide for our discussion. Everybody okay with that? You think it's it seems pretty, it doesn't leave it very open-ended or anything. So before I do that, I wanted to give you all a chance if there's anything that you'd like to add, comment on. I'll leave the floor open to you for a moment.
I think we did file the documents that we have requested.
Yep.
Double check that we received.
Yes, yeah.
I have extra copies here for those.
Have you all had a chance to take a look at the map?
Did you say you have copies there?
If you haven't, Carol, look
No, just
The updated.
that were sent to us.
in the email. Yes.
I was
Okay.
able to.
Okay, good.
Look at it. Did see? Yeah, look on when we got sent to us.
Yeah.
Yes, so we had asked specifically for some measurements. We had asked for the 25-foot buffer. I had suggested that the applicant get very specific about the types of vegetation that would be put in the buffer, and I see all of that there. Thank you. Thanks for being so thorough.
It's easy to read.
All right, let's go through this and get people's opinion. Number one, will a proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land plan use or zoning regulations?
Material. Read it again, please.
Yes, it's right in front of you, by the way. It should be in your deck. Oh, you only printed 2 copies? Okay, here, I brought one for myself, so let me pass that over to you. And I'm happy to reread these if needed. Will a proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land plan use or zoning regulation?
Yes, we're going from 150 to whatever the number is.
Will, what do you think?
I thought so too, yeah.
Fred,
I don't think so.
Sharon?
What did Will say?
He
No,
said yes.
yes.
He thought it was a material conflict.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Okay. So a moderate to a large impact may occur. Now, just those of you who haven't been through this before, once we go through this form, for anything, any place that we state there's a moderate to large impact, I have to write up, or we will write up. I will write up an explanation of what that, and in this case, I'll state that the size of the variance that was requested was at least moderate to large. I'll also state that unlike other variances, that only portions of the variance are required, and for a relatively short portion of the driveway. So that, in my mind, mitigates some of that large impact. Would you all agree with that?
Mhm.
What do you think, Will?
Yes.
Thank you. Will a proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of the land?
So,
He's making it a major driveway.
yeah, but it's not changing. It won't be. Land use is still the same, right? It's still a farm, it's still. Or are you saying what's gonna
The
be,
intensity. would be
but the
increased.
intensity isn't, she's not increasing. The farm use out of this driveway.
No, but she's increasing the non-farm use. If it becomes a major driveway. And it may not be very much, it's the rural area.
I don't see how it's gonna be different than the other driveway that's being removed, though. You know, I mean, go ahead, I understand what you're saying. You're saying that right now it's a pasture, so there's going to be a driveway there, so it's an argument that's valid.
What do you think?
Well, I would say it's a farm service road now. I mean, obviously, it'll be a little bit more of an impact on traffic and stuff, but it's not gonna be a problem, because you're eliminating one. And you're not adding any more. They're gonna have one driveway, you're taking one away and putting one in.
So, just as a reminder, we have two choices to make. One is no or small impact, moderate to large.
I would say no or small.
I agree.
Agreed. Will a proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? Will a proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? Will a proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
No.
Will a proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? Will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies or public or private waste treatment facilities? Will a proposed action impair the character or quality of important historical, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? Too many A's. Will a proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources?
Just assume that.
Yep,
I think it would be small, but
I agree. Will a proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
I think it could be no to small, yeah.
Well, that's why we requested the 20-foot, 25-foot buffer. Will a proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. All right, so we have on the 11 different impacts that we went through, 10 of the 11 are no or small. And as I said before, I will note the moderate to large, which was the size of the variance, but also caveat it with the relatively short length that variance will be in effect. Okay. All right, the next step is for us to go through the findings in our decision. So as always, we'll go through each of these 5. And if we want to document any of them, we'll do so. First. We have to vote on that separately? I don't. Do we? Oh, okay. All right, so I need a motion to accept this as we just went through.
I'll second that.
Anybody opposed?
Am I voting? Yes.
No. Okay, no one opposed. Thank you, Jay.
Do we at any point in this process go over the New York State Town and Village law that says what must be proven in order to be granted an area variance? There are 5 things we have to go over.
That's one to do that.
Okay.
Yep, thank you. Perfect segue. Perfect. Right, factor number 1, whether an undesirable change would be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. 3. Whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by a feasible alternative to the variance.
Yes. There's another road. Road could be made beautiful too,
What do you think, Sharon?
right?
I think it's just.
What do you think?
Well, in theory, yes, you could. That's not what they're here for. They want to put it there. So yes, but
Yeah, I think it's no, and I'll tell you why. So a feasible alternative to it, because we're talking about a new driveway. A feasible alternative would be to move it to a different location on Nivers Road. That would be the feasible alternative.
Why do you say it has to be on Miners Road? A driveway to the house?
they want to relocate the driveway off of Route 27. So the only alternative would be somewhere else along Niver Road would be the alternative, which obviously the best place to put it would be where they want to put it. And if they were going to go off of 27, they would leave it where it is.
I have a problem with. This is what they want. I mean, I'd like a long life.
Yeah, but they're here for that. They're the property owners and the
It's their
taxpayers.
property.
We're here to help them. We're not here to stop them. That's what we're here for.
Yes,
And if they can meet all of our requirements, they should get their variance. If they can meet the requirements, correct?
is there another place on Miners Road? Farther, not there, but farther, when we were there, to me, there was a lot of land on both sides of Niners Road that could be used.
So the answer to that, I think, Carol, is no to the left, because that's where streams bend in.
I don't remember how far the property goes to the left. Did it stop at the stream? Or did it?
No, it goes a little bit farther to the
No,
left.
so if you went to the left of the stream, you would have to cross the stream.
That's correct.
Right.
I didn't
And if you
know.
went to the right, there's another stream over there.
But farther than that, there was more room, wasn't there? This road.
Well, there's a whole field down through there, yes.
Yeah. So it could have been, could be moved there. Yes or no?
It could be, but what we have to remind ourselves is that these aren't streams, they're water runoffs. I've known that since I was a kid. And they used to moldboard, Keith Nyber used to moldboard plow right up to that. For the whole time I was a kid, and most of the time there was no water in those. And I went by there the other day, and they're all grassed in and grown in. So it's not a steady stream of water. It's a water runoff on a seasonal heavy rain. It's not a constantly running stream. And that's what everybody's losing sight of.
That is true, Fred, but it's still treated as a stream under the eyes of the law.
I know, but I'm just telling you that it's not a constant running stream where,
Yeah.
you know, there's fish and everything else.
Well, I'm looking at the first part of this sentence, whether benefits sought by the applicant, and the benefit that the applicant is looking for is the aesthetics of putting that driveway in that
The
particular.
aesthetics is to drive through the meadow on the way in.
Right.
Moving it they wouldn't be able to do that anymore. So I understand your point. I mean, if you wanna, if the idea is this is where they want it because they want that aesthetic value. Can they achieve it somewhere else? Possibly not.
It doesn't seem to me like there's a feasible alternative to achieve that goal without further disruption. Like if we did say, all right, move it to the left, then we still got the variance to deal with, and now we're going over the stream instead of, which would mean
That's not a.
which is not a- not a good solution.
I just think that over to the right on Niners Road, it's possible. I don't remember the distances, so it's hard. for me to-
I don't know if I'm allowed to suggest it. So in our project narrative, where it says 5 factors to consider for granting the variance, which I think is what we're working on.
Yep.
So page 3 of our project narrative. We outline feasible and prudent alternative. I'm happy to pass this around or.
Yes, could you please? Thank you. So we'll pass it around. Basically, the argument is that moving the driveway would create more disturbance by more regrading.
What?
Regrading.
And I think that in our experience, farmers put roads in practical places, practical by nature.
Right.
So we're trying to be practical and use the existing farmland.
Thank you.
This is stuff that they brought in earlier. Yes, I know. I have it. It's probably in here.
Well, they're reading that. So whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by a feasible alternative to the variance, yes or no for you?
I think, given that. I'm gonna look at it like. In the agricultural end of this is that if they have to go through the field, what kind of disruption would be there? And, you know, this is an alternative to that. To not encroaching anywhere into the farm field. And that's the only argument I can make to say, no, it's not.
No, okay. Fred,
I'm changing back to no.
no. Okay, Sharon,
Yeah, I'm gonna go with it's not. What's the question?
whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by a feasible alternative to the variance.
No, I think that they're choosing the best option for moving it.
Okay, so it's a no
Yeah,
unanimously. Whether the requested variance is substantial. We already said it was. Would the variance have an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood? No for me. Whether the alleged difficulty was self-created?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. The next step is we're going to have a discussion if we want. But the next step in this process is the ZBA, after taking into consideration the above 5 factors, finds that 1, the benefit to the applicant does not outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood or community, and therefore the variance request is denied. The benefit to the applicant does outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood or community, and the variance request is accepted. Now, we can impose conditions if we would like. And one of the conditions that we talked about was asking for an escrow, which would probably be $1,500. Somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500, and that escrow would go to pay to have an engineer, the town engineer, review the driveway construction, which seemed to be a concern to some folks. That is a condition that could be imposed if the board felt it was necessary, or if any other conditions that the board felt you'd like to impose. So
If this is passed, I definitely think we need an engineer.
I have a condition. I think, for me to go ahead with this, the one request that I have is that I would like to, I would, you know, because of the driveway, the way it's going to be made and stuff like that, which is still gonna be a good job, I'm sure. But, I think there should be a dry hydrant or a standpipe at that pond on the property, so they can access water, so trucks don't have to go in and out with tanking water. And we don't have to break ice and do anything. I think you'll get all your money back from
Yeah.
insurance savings.
I think it's a very good suggestion.
So for me to go ahead, I'd like to see that.
okay, so I'm going to ask you one by one what your vote is, whether or not you think the benefit does not outweigh, or whether you think the benefit does outweigh. The benefit, just to be completely clear, if you say the benefit to the applicant does outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood, we're approving the variance with those conditions. So I'll ask you for your vote, and you tell me, Jay and I will capture what your stipulations are, if any.
Say something.
Sharon,
I vote yes with Will's condition.
I vote yes with Will's condition also.
all right, and I vote that the benefit to the applicant does outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood. So that's a yes, and my stipulation would be $1,500 escrow And we'll ask George to just be part of the review of the driveway. Okay, Jay, do we need any further voting on this to make it any more formal?
And I did a motion, a second. And please have the motion include the condition.
All right, let me try it. Let me try it. I'll do the motion. So I make the motion that the determination of the ZBA is that the benefit to the applicant does outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood or community. With two stipulations. Stipulation number one, the establishment of a $1,500 escrow for engineering support on driveway construction. Stipulation number two is the addition of
Dry hydrant or stand.
dry hydrant or standpipe at the location of a pond on the property.
Now, I think that both fire companies would probably be involved in that. Most likely, so.
Okay, well, let's. Okay,
Second on that.
second on the motion.
I mean, I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Congratulations, you got your variance.
Did a nice job on this, getting it back to us and did a lot of work on it.
Yeah, appreciate the level of detail, right down to the kinds of bushes and trees you put in. That was most helpful.
Yeah, let's see.
Can I have back my blank
Yes.
short form? Thank you. Okay, just one more piece of business for us, and that is the oh, and good night, folks. Thanks for coming out in this rainy evening.
Careful going home, guys.
Good night. And this is just kind of an update. So we're still waiting, Jay, unless you've got some new news for the resubmission from ONG.
No, they were aware that they were being placed on the agenda. I just said it was a continuation, but I have not.
Okay. I will reach out to John Lyons tomorrow and just ask him if he has any updates for us with any of the other research. And if he does, I'll set up another Zoom call for us. But at this point, we're simply waiting to see what their next submission is. And following that submission, we'll hold a meeting, at which point they'll get to present their case.
I'm really concerned that I won't be able to make the November one unless it's a week earlier. Because I'm not going to be here.
Right.
The 21st, I will be traveling, so that's the Monday before, so I can't even Zoom on that.
Well, the good news is that you can watch the recording because we're not going to be making any decisions
Oh,
tonight.
okay.
Yeah, that is simply that first meeting is their opportunity to present to us, and us to ask questions, and we will not be. In fact, a little different from this meeting. If I understand the process with John correctly, is that unlike a typical variance meeting where we give the applicant the answer, the second meeting where we won't do that because John wants time for us to meet separately and ensure that the conclusion that we come up with and then the written response that we give is all legal, which he'll actually draft, unlike what I'll do here tonight for us. Okay, anything else from anybody?
Get any feedback? Decision of the meeting.
It's getting voted on Thursday night.
When is our meeting next month?
Uh,
The 24th.
And that's contingent upon O and G having submitted materials at least 10 days prior to the meeting. And or if something else comes up.
It's October 23rd.
October 23rd. Thank you, Jay. Okay, can I get a motion to close the meeting?
Promotion. I'll second.
Okay. I'm sure there are no dissents. So, thank you all. And here endeth the meeting to the engineer.